because of the tonight the Hilula the Rashbi, we're going to learn Agada the Rashbi. The Gemara in Maseches Shabbos, the Gemara says that we're going to start from there. Va'amai korele Rosh HaMedabrim b'chol mokim. Rabbi Yehuda, they called him Rosh HaMedabrim, the head speaker. Why? The Gemara said that they asked for Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, and Rabbi Shimon. There were three Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda, that's the Rabbi Yehuda Rosh HaMedabrim. Rabbi Yosef, that's Rabbi Yosef ben Chalafta. He was the Rebbe of Rabbi Yehuda Hanossi. Rabbi Shimon, that's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Yosef Yehuda ben Geirim Gabayu. I was sitting with them, Yehuda ben Geirim. According to Rabbeinu Tam, it looks like Rashi is masking with him. It was not Yehuda ben Geirim, Rabbi Yehuda ben Geirim. Because the Gemara and Maseches Moed Katan brings that one time when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai sent his son Rabbi Lozo to get a bracha from Rabbi Yehuda ben Geirim, and he told them the Anshe Tzura, the big people. So from here mashma, it was Rabbi Yehuda. Okay. Anyway, so Yehuda ben Geirim was among them. Posach Rabbi Yehuda ve'Omar. Kama no'im asem shel umazu. They were talking about the Romans. They were then the rulers in Eretz Yisrael. So Rabbi Yehuda said, what a beautiful accomplishment that this nation did over here. Tiknu shvokim, tiknu geshorim. They made marketplaces. They make bridges. They make merchatzoas, bet houses. Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta shosak. He was silent. He didn't say no comments. Nana Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai v'Omar. Kol masha tiknu lo tiknu ela l'tzorich atzmon. Whatever they did it for their own sake. They didn't do it for us, for the nation. They did it for their own sake. Tiknu shvakim lo yishiv bohem zoynus. They made marketplaces, public places to put over their prostitutes. Marchatzoes, they put bed houses la'adan bohem atzmon to benefit themselves, enjoy themselves. Gishorim, they made bridges. Little ma'ameches, they put booths over the toll booths to take money from people. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai basically criticized them and said they did nothing for us. Holach Yehuda ben Geirim v'siper divrayim. Yehuda ben Geirim went out and told what they say. What they said, v'nishmu l'malchus. Rashi says over here, v'siper divrayim, Rashi is l'talmidov. So you see over here, he had talmidim. He was a great scholar too, like Rabbeinu Tam says. Either he said it to his parents, he didn't mean to master Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. He was not a moiser. So just the story went on, and they heard about it. So when the Romans heard what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said about them, so they said like this. Omru, the Romans said like this: Yehuda she'ila yis'ale. Yehuda, that Rabbi Yehuda, that he praised us. He's gonna go up. We're gonna raise him up, and that's where they made him Rosh HaMedabrim. They the Romans decided every time the scholars get together, Rabbi Yehuda gonna be Rosh HaMedabrim because of that incident that he praised them. Yossi shosak yigla letzipoiri. Yossi, that's Rabbi Yossi Bar Chalafta, that he didn't say anything, we're going to exile him to Tzipoiri. Tzipoiri at the north part of Israel. Shimon, Shagino, Shimon, that's Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that he criticized us, Yehorek. They wanted to give him a capital punishment. Ozalhu breve toshu ben medrasho. So he took his son, Rabbi Lozer, and they went and they went to hiding in Bes Medrash. They didn't come home anymore because they was afraid they're going to look for him at home. They're going to arrest him. Kol Yoma, every day, Hava Maisela Devisum, Rivto Vekuza de Mayo. So the wife of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, every day she brought bread, pitcher of water, Vekarche. That's what they were eating, bread and water. Kitokiv Gezerto, when they fell, they're really looking after them. It become the Gezerah, the decree become intense. Omar lebre, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told his son, Noshim daiton kala. Women are easy to convince them. Not that, they're not strong-minded. Noshem daiton kalo aleim. Dilma mitzarula. Maybe they're gonna give her a hard time, or agonize her with investigation, interrogation. And she's gonna not have a choice but reveal where we are in Bes Medrash, because she knows where we are. And then we're gonna be in trouble. Ozlu toshu b'ma'arta. Maybe they escaped even from the wife. She didn't know where they went, because the whole idea was she's gonna reveal where they are. So him, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, and his son Rabbi Elazar, they went and they hid in the cave. That's the Ma'ira of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, where they go to Miron every year. The Gemara says, Israchesh Nisa, Hashem made a miracle, Ivra Luhu, Charuva Ve'ena. Hashem created inside the cave a tree, carob tree, Charuvim, and a well of water. This way they had water to drink, and for the nourishment that they ate the carob. And I thought, why Punkt Hashem created the tree of, if Hashem created already a miracle, why didn't create any other tree? Charuva, carob. Again, maybe another, some Hashem, I'm sure has a reason, but the Pashtus, I want to say the Charuva, it's a gematria of 216. Ches, it's 8, Reish, it's 200, it's 208, plus Vav, 208 and 6, Vav at 6, that's 214, and then base Aleph, Charuva, base Aleph, it's 3, it's 217. It's a gematria of 217, it's the same gematria as Roz Z. Roz, it's a secret, my secret. So we know that in the schus of the Meira, the schus of the cave, he was Megaler, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rosen the Araisa, all the secrets of Torah in the Zohar HaKodesh. And even in his learning, as we're going to see later on, he got to a very, very high level of learning that, he was very exceptional. That's why we also, among the Tanoim, which is all great, he was exception to the great people. That's why there's no one else in the history has such a Yortzeit and recognition of Yortzeit like Rashbi. Every year, approximately 250,000 people just going over there, besides many more that celebrate his Yom HaDehilula. Anyway, so it says over there like this. V'avu meshalchem manayu v'avu yasver atzvarayu b'chalo. Kula yoma. Garsei, they would go inside the sand, and the sand would covering them till their neck. They take off the clothing, and they would learn. Be'idan tzeluye lovshu michsu humatzlo. Come time of davening, they would get out of where they sitting inside the sand, put their clothing, daven, and then v'adar mashalchem manayu, and then they take off again the clothing and go inside the sand. This way they could learn Torah. You're not allowed to learn when you're naked. The reason they did that, ki echid elo livlu, they didn't want the clothing to get ruined after a while. You don't know how long they're going to be there. In case they're going to be a long time, at least they preserve their clothing as much as they can. Okay, there's one question I had over this, on this part of the story. So, learning Torah, you're not allowed to learn when you're naked, and something davening. So that's why they cover themselves with the sand. The sand would cover them till the neck. So that's not called Gilui Erva, because you're covered. Now, why by davening they got out, put the clothing to daven? They could daven like this too. Elomai, by davening there's you could say, there's a postuk, Ikon Nikras Elakacha Yisrael. Prepare for davening, have a nice clothing for davening. So maybe for that reason they went out of the sand, put clothing for davening. They wanted to be the union of Hikon. However, it's a problem. In Daf Yud Aleph, I'm reading now, that's the Masechet Shabbos, Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. In Daf Yud Aleph, in Masechet Shabbos, the Gemara says over there, Chaverim shoyu oskim b'Torah mafsikin l'kriyas Shema ben mafsikin l'tefillah. Talmidei Chacham, they were learning. They have to stop their learning for Kriyat Shema, but not for davening. And Omar Rabbi Yochanan, Loshonu kan Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai v'chaveirav, shetoroson emunuson v'kagan ana mafsikin l'kriyat Shema v'letefillah. Who doesn't have to stop for davening? Rav Shimon Bar Yochai v'Chaveirov. By them, the Torah was their profession. They did nothing but learning. They didn't stop for anything. For them, you say you don't have to stop even for davening. Just say Kriyat Shema, go back to your learning. But anybody else will stop anyway. Even Rabbi Yochanan said. Rabbi Yochanan was a great scholar himself. Says we have to stop for davening. And so the Tosfos over there bring it. What we see in the Gemara, we're just learning that for davening. It says over they were davening. Tosfos says no, they were not davening. They just said Kriyat Shema, because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai didn't stop for davening. He's learning the whole time. So according to this, they stop for Kriyat Shema only. That's what the Tosfos says. If that's the case, why did they put the clothing on? The whole union of Hikoin, like prepare for davening, put clothing, nice clothing. It's for davening. So it's a kasha. I don't know the teretz, but Lamaisa they say kasha for Maisa. That's what it was. Don't question a story. But Lamaisa, that's what they did. For learning, they put themselves, they took the clothing out, they sent inside the sand. Learn, for Kriyat Shema, they got out, put the clothing, said Kriyat Shema, and then went back, took off the clothing. This way they preserved the clothing for a long time. One says like this. Itvu Tresar Shone b'Ma'arto. There were 12 years in the cave. Osa Eliyahu, Kam Eliyahu Hanovi, v'Kam Apischo de Ma'arto. He was standing by the entrance of the cave. Omar man loidu labar Yechoy the mis Kesar ubotil gzerose. Who he was standing from the entrance, he didn't go inside. Says who will announce to Bar Yochai, to Reb Shimon, that the Kesar died and the whole decree is nullified. Nobody looking for him now. He could get out. So he didn't go in. So Reb Shimon Bar Yochai heard this. He says, so I have good news. I can get out. The question over here, why Eliyahu didn't go inside? Why did he have to stay outside? Especially, we know in the Zohar, the many times mentioned Eliyahu Hanavi learned with them, the Zohar. Even the Neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu came to learn. It says Raya Mehemna, they call him. That's all parts in Zohar called Raya Mehemna, the faithful shepherd, Moshe Rabbeinu. So Eliyahu Hanavi came to learn with them. How come he didn't go inside? It's interesting, we could say, the Alter Rebbe said, when 10 Jews get together, there's such a big light of Shechina over there, Kol Ba'asor Shechinta Sharia, even Malach Michael would be afraid to be there. He would be burned from the Kedusha, that presence over there. We don't see it, we don't feel it, but it's a great Kedusha when 10 people in the room together. Even Malach Michael cannot be there. That's why with davening directly to Hashem, there's nothing in between, because Hashem himself during Asura. So they said that Rashbi HaKodesh, during the 12 years he was in the cave, as we're going to see later on, he got to very, very high levels. It was the Bechina, when he finished his tikkun, whatever it was his tikkun to be there, for 12 years, was a Bechina, such a Bechina, that even Eliyahu Hanovi after that was afraid, even though he learned with them, he was there, Chavrusa, he was afraid to walk in it. Such a Kedusha, he stood on the outside, and he says, who will let him know that he is free already? Anyway, so when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai heard this, he says, Nofku, they came out of the cave, Chodzu Inshay, could you imagine, 12 years they didn't see anybody. They didn't see light, they didn't see anything. They were 12 years in the cave. Chodzu, they saw people, the Kakarve Vazare, people plowing, people planting. They came from a different world. Imagine it's like people coming from a different planet. They were on a planet in completely Kedusha, not involved at all in making money, making anything in the world, materialistic, completely like angels coming to this world. And Amrei, they said, how that people could, in this world, not sit and learn the whole day and be busy with this world? Again, from the world they came, they didn't understand people working. What do you mean? You're wasting your time with work. Go learn. Kol mokem shenoistim anayim miyad nisraf. They were looking at the world in such a gevuradik, in such a strict way. Anything everywhere they looked, they started burning it with their holy vision. It was so holy. Yotzo Baskol came a heavenly sound from Shemayim. You came out to destroy my world? To Rab Shimon Bar Yochai and the son Rabbi Elazar. Chizru l'ma'araschem. Go back to your cave. What, you're going to destroy my world? You're so holy, you cannot tolerate people less than yourself. You're going to destroy my world. Hodur ozul eisvu trezer yarche shata. They went back to the cave. They spent another year in the cave. So they got for it one more year jail time. They went inside the cave for another year. Amrei, they said, why they went for another year? Mishpat Rishoim begehenem Yud Bes Chodesh. God forbid Rishoim, when they die, Hashem judges them 12 months. So they say, if we did something wrong, Keneged Ratzon Hashem, even though it comes from a very holy place, we need a tikkun. So our tikkun will be, we're going to go 12 months to our Gehenim. That was not Gan Eden over the conditions over there. And they went back for 12 months. Gemara says, Yotzo Baskol v'Omro. This time came already not Eliyahu Hanovi on the entrance. This time came Baskol and told them, Tsumi ma'araschem. Get out of your cave. Get out of your place and go out to the world. Nofku, who could say now at this point, the Tsumi ma'araschem doesn't only mean come out physically only from your cave. I mean, come out of your realm. Come out from where you were so holy. Come and be part of the world, learn the world, and that was the whole tikkun for 1 year, to learn that even though we're so high, so holy, we need to relate to this world the way they are, and don't be so judgmental. Sumi ma'araschem, get out of there. The Gemara says, Nofku, they came out of there. Kol hechad ave mocher Rabbi Elazar, ave maser Rab Shimon. Looks like Rabbi Elazar still was a little bit very, very strict. He was gevuradik, and by the way, we see many Gemaras, other Gemaras and Shas. Rabbi Elazar was a strict Baal Gevuradik. He was a strict man, no nonsense man. So wherever Rabbi Elazar would ruin with his being judgmental and so strict, like before, Maseh Rabbi Shimon would heal it. He would be complimenting him and balancing him off, meaning like don't go that far. Be more patient with people. So that's, at least right now, look like Rabbi Shimon went to the, as we see, Rabbi Shimon to the other extreme. We see also in the Gemara and Sukkah, he said, I could be advocate for the whole world and get them out of Yom Adin. I mean, he came to the other extreme, understanding people. Rabbi Elazar still was strict, but Rabbi Shimon constantly used to balance him off. Gemara says, Omar Loi, so the way he calmed down his son, like, don't be so strict with the world. Bni, dai le'olam ani v'ato. Says, my son, you're so demanding why they're doing what they're doing, why they're not busy in a higher avodas Hashem, they're busy with the world. It says, enough for Hashem, it says, to serve Hashem, me and you. Me and you is enough. Let the world be what they are. Meaning, from here you see, b'derech klal, if people that have high demands, and they sometimes demand from others very high demands. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told his son, if you have high demands, let's demand from us. Me and you, let's ask from us to be on a high level. That's the demands direct to yourself. To others, be more tolerant, be more positive. That's what you're demanding from the world, demands from yourself. From them, be easy on them. Ba'ade panya demale Shabbato. Erev Shabbos, Chazu, they were walking, they saw Hahu Saba da Venoki Tre Madonna Asa. They saw an old man walking with the two branches of Hadassim. The Hadassim were used for Arba Minim. Veroit, and he was running. Ben Hashmoshes was mamash before already Shabbos, and he was running with the two branches of Hadassim. Omrulei, they asked the old man, Hanach Lomalach, what do you need this Hadassim for? Omar Lu L'chvat Shabbos. I want them for Kvot Shabbos. And Taka Adayom, there's many Sephardish shuls on Shabbos. They say bracha on B'rem and Besomim on Shabbos. We say everybody on Motzei Shabbos. Everybody's saying. On Shabbos also they say it's for Kvot Shabbos. I'm thinking for Shabbos to have a nice smell. Shabbos will enjoy nice clothing, nice food, nice nigunim. You have a nice smell. That's the. Yeah, but I mean, extra bracha, and it's you also, like I saying, you also making oilet Shabbos to your chusha smell, not only to your chusha achila, to clothing, to nigunim with that's chusha shmiya, also to your chusha smell. So he says that's coming for covered Shabbos. So the Gemara says, "V'tizgelach b'chod." Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Elazar asked this man, "Okay, you didn't cover Shabbos. Why do you need two? Take one hadas. Why do you need two hadasim?" They told him, "Chad keneged zocher, v'chad keneged shomer." One of them is keneged zocher. Shabbos says zocher v'shomer. So I took two. So the Amal Lebrei, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told his son Rabbi Elazar, "Chazei kama chavivin mitzvahs al Yisrael." Look how they love the mitzvahs. Hey, they're taking something for covered Shabbos. They're taking two on zocher, shomer. I mean, he's teaching his son how you have to look on the positive in others. Look how they're running for Shabbos, and he's doing it, taking extra mitzvah to say bracha, extra bracha, to have a nice aroma for Shabbos. Look, mitzvahs chaviv on Yisrael, they love to do mitzvahs. Yosef da'atayu, meaning they come down, meaning they make peace with the world, with the reality. We have a different reality. We live maybe like Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Elazar saying to his son, maybe we have to be in that high madrega where we are, but make a peace with the reality. Be more tolerant to people. Shomar Rapinchas ben Yoel Chasone v'nofak la'apei. Rapinchas ben Yoel, some say it was his father-in-law, some say it was his son-in-law. If it says Chasanei, it's his son-in-law. Chosnei, that would be his father-in-law. Most probably, the Pashtus looks like it's a father-in-law. Anyway, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yoel, whether father, son-in-law, when he heard he's out, v'nofak la'apei, he came to do Kabbalah Sponim, to see him. He didn't see him for 13 years. Ayle leve banya, he took him to the bed house. Have ka'arich lele bisrei, when he was helping him to with the soap to his back. He saw there's a lot of holes in his body, because when they were in the sand has a lot of acids. The sand made holes. This acids made hole in the body. Have a kaboche. He started crying. So the son-in-law went through a lot of torture in 13 years. So his tears fell on those holes in the body of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Tears are Pinchas ben Yoel. Tears are salty, and it started burning him, and he started screaming, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, from pain. Yeah. Amar le oilish risibek bekach. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yoel told his son-in-law, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he says, woe to me that I see you in such a condition. Like he was completely trashed physically. His body full of holes. He's not in good shape. Look, he didn't eat this 13 years steak, and he ate he had a water and carobs, and he wasn't in good shape, and then he was full of holes. He says, oilish risibekach. Amar le ashrecho. You're fortunate you see me in this condition. Why? If you wouldn't see me in this condition, you wouldn't see me, what I gained from this. Meaning in just 13 years, there was a big pain physically, but there was a big gain spiritually. And that's Taka Reb Shimon Bar Yochai himself in the Zohar HaKodesh says, Chulsha de gufa tukfa de nishmasa. When there is a weakness in the body, meaning sometime, not always, sometime meaning you're weaker in your bodily stuff, meaning you don't pay attention, you don't feed so much your materialistic body, so that brings increasing the tukva de nishmasa, the strength of your spiritual neshama, meaning you're putting more towards your neshama, more efforts. So over here, since in the Meira, over here, in 13 years, we were completely removed from chomrius, from materialistic world, no food, nothing, sitting in the sand. Because of that, they gain a lot of koiches spiritually in learning, in spiritual levels. He says like this. The Mikor Kiava Maksha Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Kushya, when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai would ask a question, his father-in-law, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yoel, meaning usually a question, ask a Talmud to his Rebbe, to the teacher. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair would answer him 12 answers, meaning Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was 12 notches up, more than Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. He knew 12 things that Rabbi Pinchas did not know. That's why he answered him 12 answers for every question. And now he says, "Lasoif kava makshe Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair kushya hava mafarek Rashbi esten varba piruke." Now, when Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair asking a question, he became like a Talmud. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai knew so much in this 13 years what he learned. It's new in quantity and quality. Now, when Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair asking a question, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai answering 24 answers, meaning there's 36 levels what he grew up. Before he was receiving 12 answers, now he's giving back 24 answers. Those 12 answers he used to get from Rabbi Pinchas, he knows them already. That's 12 notches up. Then he answers 24 answers for every question to Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, his father-in-law, meaning he went up 36 levels higher than what he was before. And before he also was a great Tana, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. So the Gemara says, Omar. So he says, Hoyil v'israchesh nisa ezil askin milsa. Now Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says, since Hashem made me a miracle, took me out of here, after 13 years, I'm going to have to make something for the community, as a appreciation to the community. How did we know such a thing? When Hashem makes you a miracle, you have to not only enjoy it yourself, but benefit the community. Yaakov Shalom, V'amarav Shalom, B'gufay Shalom, B'mana Shalom B'torosei. V'yichan espnei. So when Yaakov went after Lavan, when he worked with Lavan for 20 years, when he came already to Shechem, Shalom became all complete. Was Shalom incomplete? The Gemara is complete in what? Complete begufoi, body-wise, he was complete. Meaning, he worked so hard, he could have some bodily defect. He didn't have it. Shalom b'mamoinoi, he worked with Lavan, the big crook, but he still had money after all this. He didn't lose money. The Shalom b'terosei, that's the biggest chiddush. After such a hard work of 20 years, people could drop learning or not learn, forget learning. His whole Torah of Yaakov was with him. And he felt, it says the word, Vayichan l'spnei ha'ir. Vayichan miloshan chanina. He made some favor to the city when he came, as appreciation to Hashem. You after 20 years of I came with all this, with health, with money, with my wisdom. He says, I need to do something. Vayichan miloshan chanina. I need to do something for the city. Amar Rav says, what Yaakov did, matbeya tikkun loen. Looks like till then they didn't trade with coins. Maybe people trade with real silver, real gold, they barter. Yaakov says, let's make coins, matbeya tikkun. Let's at least in that city, maybe in other places there was already coins, but he did. It says, let's trade with coins. He did for the city coins. I don't know if it was bitcoins or other coins, but he made coins for them. He made a coin system for them. But Shmuel Omar Shvokim Tikkun Loem. Shmuel says he created marketplaces, meaning till now, if somebody wants to buy tomato, he goes, knocks on the door, somebody knows, oh, he has tomatoes. You need the cucumbers, you're going, knocking on somebody's pew. He says, let's make a marketplace, everybody gets together, and we're going to have create a bigger business over here. We'll all come to central place to make business. That's in that time, Yaakov in the city, Shechem, he's the one came and told them, let's make this marketplace. Again, he wanted to benefit the public. So Omar, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai learned from Yaakov, and he says, that's what he did. I have to do the same thing. Hashem made me a miracle. What can I do for the public? I'm sorry, I skipped Rav Yochanan. Rav Yochanan says, Merchatzo es tikkun loem. There's three things over here. According to one opinion, he made coins. According to the second opinion, he made marketplaces. Third opinion, Rav Yochanan, he did for them bet houses. He made bet houses. Okay. So Omar, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai says, Ika milza devoy l'sakuna. So he asked if there is anything in this city where Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was, that probably somewhere up north over there, that's where it was the cave. Says, can I do something to help the city? There's a place over here that we have maybe there's a sofek tumah, maybe some bodies buried over here. The Kohanim don't want to become tomeh, and they're going around. It's a big tsar for them that they're not sure, so they're going around. Okay, making a long story short, the Rashbi Bar Yochai fixed the problem, because we have to finish now. Then it said, after he did what he did, he fixed the problem, he helped them over there. The Gemara says, Chozel Yehuda ben Gerim. No fakel shuka Chozel Yehuda. When he was walking to a marketplace, he saw Yehuda ben Gerim. Who was Yehuda ben Gerim? That's the one who told the story, and then the story went all the way to the Romans. Because of that, he suffered 13 years. The Gemara says, Omar Yesh Lezeh Adayin Ba'olam. He's still around, this man? The Gemara says, Nosan Ba'enav Aso Gal Shalat Samus. He looked at him and he turned him to a rubble of bones. Oh, there's two girsois over here. So that if we're going to say the original guy was not Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim, Yehuda, a regular guy, so he made him a rubble of bones by looking at him. So, like I said, Rabbi Shimon was a very holy man. But if we're going to say like the Tosfos, he was Rabbi Yehuda, he was a great man. He didn't do it purposely. He spoke to his parents, like Rashi says. He spoke to his Talmidim. The story went out, and they got hurt indirectly. He didn't mean to hurt them. The Tosfos says the girsa would be v'nach nafshe. He passed away because of that. So the question is, if it was the great guy that it was Maseches Moed Koton, he sent his son to get bracha from them many years ago, then that's Rabbi Yehuda. It's not Yehuda. We're going to say Rabbi Yehuda, and he just passed away after that. It was a kpeda for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, even though he didn't mean it, but the might say he suffered because of him so much. But if we're going to say it's a different man, there is such a man da'oma, there's such a commentator that says it was two different people. One was Rabbi Yehuda ben Gerim, was a great man. One was Yehuda ben Gerim. And so, according to this, whether he became, if it was Yehuda ben Gerim, not Rabbi Yehuda, he made him a rubble of bones. If it was Rabbi Yehuda, he just passed away. Anyway, Zchusa of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Yogan Aleinu, and like he said that he could, even though he was so up there, but he was able to come down and to see in the people positive in every person, to the point he said he could. The Gemara in Sukkah says he said like this: if I'll be the judge for the world, I'll get them off the hook from Yom Adin, and if my son would be with me, he says, I get them off the hook from creation of the world all the way to our time. And he says, if Yotam Yosam ben Uzziyo would be with us, we have a shiur about this, what was special about this man. He says we would save the world from Yom Adin all the way from the creation of the world all the way till Yemei Mashiach.